You're kind of hardened if you live in Cleveland, aren't you, to what people say about Cleveland? So the Cleveland Plain Dealer, I didn't want to address it, she's not the editor of it, wrote, "Not enough grit." That was their headline after the loss. And that was, and their editor came out, sports editor came out and apologized for that. There's the headline, "Not enough grit, Cavs sputter as a great season ends. One game too soon." Well, if it ended the next game,
I think it was 2 games too soon, but yeah, that's fine.
It seemed to be
2 wins too soon.
So the sports editor said the guy who wrote it didn't quite get that the grit is how they got to that.
Yeah.
So they had enough grit. It was they had too much of the JR miss and Chumpert and guys that couldn't play a lick.
When I was writing my NBA columns last week, I said that Gladys had the Pips and LeBron has the Knicks. Not a great combination when you're trying to win. They are terrible. I mean, that is one of the worst teams to ever make a final. That LeBron got them to Game 6, and yeah, he didn't shoot well because he had to shoot 40 times a game because JR shot 29%. Shumpert shot, what, 28%?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, wow. Mozgov was their second best player. I mean, because Dellavedova basically disappeared. Dellavedova, but Mozgov was their second best player. Just let that sink in for a second.
And anybody different that knows, he couldn't even get on the court here.
I know. Crazy.
I always liked he and Kufas, and they as good outside shooters. When I'd watch them in practice, and I'd go, boy, these guys could be players.
Isn't this the second time there's been an apology? When Oklahoma City was in the finals a couple years ago, they had a headline during the finals.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
They did a thing of Durant's not any good or something.
Right. It was like, it was like, and they apologized. I'm like,
yeah.
Either you like the headline or you don't. I mean, to apologize for headlines.
Yeah, we're going to go. Do you think, we're going to get to the tweets, that the New York Post or the New York Daily News ever apologizes for their headlines that are like that on the back page?
No.
Yeah. Let's see what the tweet's about Cleveland. Clint Squire says, just when Cleveland thought they had been Cleveland done enough, the Cubs decide to beat them 17-0. I heard Frank Kona talking about that today, and he was just laughing about it. He said, some days it just nothing works. That they thought, if we can just get through this game without an injury, and he said, then one of his pitchers pulls up lame.
Right.
He said they couldn't even do that. So, yeah.
And Johnny Manziel got shamed on Raw. WWE Raw, Johnny Idiot face. I mean, that has to go down as outside of the Elway drive, the original drive, one of the most disappointing 24, 36 hours of Cleveland sports.
Browns, Cavaliers, Indians. Who is going to break the streak?
Indians. No, I'm just kidding. It'll be Cavs. It'll be Cavs next year.
You think so?
They have Indians. I like the guys that run the Indians, but it's not going to be the Indians.
Let's go to the next one. About Cleveland. Tough times for Cleveland fans. It's been tough times for people in Cleveland since Bob Hope left there. I think he was a young fighter who grew up in Cleveland. Cavs just lost the finals. Indians lost 17-0, and Menzel is apparently your future in football.
No, he's not.
I would, I'd go out to that park. I used to go there in the summer times. My uncles worked on the assembly line for the Ford Motor Plant, and that was in the 60s, 50s, and I thought, someday, this is going to be a good city. Next one. John Lustig said, I see the Bears pulled a 17-0 shutout of Cleveland today. Oh, wait, which sport is this? Frank Kona said today, we were trying to figure out whether we were going to go for 2. So, one more. Robin L.K. Cummings. Cavs lost last night. Indians lose 17-0 to Cubs tonight. Browns, they're still the Browns. Detroit's motto, at least we're not Cleveland. Who can Cleveland pick on? Who would they pick on? Buffalo? We're better than Buffalo?
Yeah, Buffalo's never won a title, but they don't have a NBA team to bring them down.
Well, they had enough NBA team, the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Braves, right? Years ago?
Braves, yes. Yeah,
no,
went to San Diego and now is the LA Clippers.